Hello, everyone. Thanks all for joining this webinar called Is a Policing Career for You? So my name is Rich, Marketing Officer at Police Now. So I'll be talking you through a bit of an introduction into Police Now and our National Graduate Leadership Program, while also touching on what we look for and how you can check if you are eligible. So we'll then have a little game, Two Truths, One Lie, where you can join in for a bit of fun. I'm also joined by recruitment officers and wonderful colleagues, Chidi and Amy, who will take you through the kind of recruitment process, what that looks like, how you can apply, how you're onboarded, which is a big part of my job, and the 2-year program. So we have a little video also to show you, and we'll be sharing a timeline and the different milestones you would reach, while also talking about life after the program. So let's get into it. So our mission is to transform communities, reduce crime and antisocial behaviour, and increase the public's confidence in the police service by recruiting, developing, and inspiring outstanding leaders and diverse leaders, in society and the policing and on the policing front line. Obviously, that's a bit of a mouthful, but it's basically what drives us as an organisation to do what we do. We believe that in doing these things, it will have a huge and positive impact on people's lives, especially for those who are kind of most vulnerable in society. So, what do we do? Well, Police Now has strong relationships with police forces all over the UK. So we recruit on their behalf, but we have our own way of doing things, but we do work with them throughout the recruitment process. We have 2 national graduate programs, so the National Graduate Leadership Program and the National Detective Program. And we recruit for both of these programs each year. So we are actually a separate route into policing. So what one would experience in terms of training and development will be a lot different from going direct entry. Police Now actually have a shorter than average training academy. So, you know, that's kind of an academy that will be led by experienced police officers, but it is quite an intensive part of the role. So diversity and inclusion is also at the heart of what we do. Policing needs to reflect the communities it serves. And the way we can do this is by attracting and developing the most diverse groups of officers in policing. And we have 309 participants who started Academy in 2021 nationally, and 52% who identified as female, and 25% identified as Black, Asian, or minority ethnic. So we provide the most visible or visibly diverse police recruitment route, and for the work we do in this space, have also won over 25 awards. Our National Graduate Leadership Program, so it's a 2-year salaried graduate program starting at anywhere between £24,780 to £31,020, depending on location. This can also rise through length of service. There are many core policing skills and techniques to be trained on as well. So we would support with the development in various areas to make sure that participants are well equipped to perform in their role and to make that kind of positive impact on society. So what do we look for? So we look for those who have never been in policing before. So a large percentage of our of people who come through us and who apply for our programs have never actually considered policing before. And this can bring many things. So diversity of thought, experience to bring new ideas and perspectives into policing, which is very important. We want our participants to be able to take ownership of problems, while also kind of owning their own developmental process, so their own personal development. Because of what the job can bring as well, such as challenges that you can face, being able to show resilience is super important, and knowing how things can impact resilience and how to manage this, and being able to kind of self-reflect is just as important. So you need to be a problem solver as well as a critical thinker. Communication is also key. It's a key part of the role, and that you kind of most of the role is spent kind of building strong relationships and engaging with a diverse community. So, witnesses, suspects, and just others around the community. So there are also kind of other realities of the role that participants do need to understand before starting in that role, such as to expect what to expect at academy, what the pre-learning is like, what that entails. You'll need an understanding of what it's like when you land in force, so what shift patterns look like, and the expected behaviors as well as police officers, and how these align with our current kind of leadership principles, as well as our mission. So showing your commitment to these and our mission will be of great importance, especially when acting in that neighborhood policing role. So eligibility. So we have a little tool on our website that allows you to check if you are eligible before actually submitting an application. So that's very handy. So you're not kind of going through the application and wasting a bit of time through that kind of eligibility process. So we've actually matched it against the eligibility that you find in the application. So it's a very handy tool. It'll only take a few minutes to complete, and includes the points that you see on the right there in the list. So to find the eligibility checker, you can head over to our website using the address now on the screen. So that's policenow.org.uk/eligibility. So time for a bit of fun. 2 truths, 1 lie. So if you could type in to the questions tab using the system, I'll be showing you 2 lists of basically what you believe to be true and what you believe to be false. So all you need to put in the questions tab is which one of these is not true, or you believe not to be true. So here we go. So A, Police Now is an independent police force based in England. B, you must have a 2-1 or above to join Police Now's National Graduate Leadership Program. And C, you must be a graduate to join the Police Now program. So all you have to do is just type in A, B, or C, whichever one you think is false. So yeah, I'm seeing a few A's, a couple of B's. Yeah, it is actually A. So well done to those who got that one. Got one more. So yeah, get ready again. So A, candidates who have policing knowledge and experience have a better chance of being successful in the process. B, the National Graduate Leadership Program is a salaried 2-year graduate program. And C, salary varies depending on the police force. So which one of those do you believe not to be true? So again, got a few A's. And again, a couple of B's. I think there's a 1C. It is, in fact, A. So well done again for those who got it right. And so thank you. Thank you for listening to that. I will now hand over to Chidi.
Hello everyone, I'm Chidi and I'm recruitment officer at Police Now, and I'll be taking you through the recruitment process today. So let's start. So our National Graduate Leadership Programme has a four-step recruitment process. Throughout the recruitment process, you'll be assessed against our competencies. So what I'm going to do is just ask, can we go to the next slide and see our competencies? So these are our competencies and values, and we would highly recommend you take some time to have a look at our competencies and values and think about how you align to each one of them and find out if you're suitable for this role. So you can do that by going on our website and having a little look and having a little read. I would definitely encourage it. So what you can see on the page right now are competencies. So the recruitment process can take between 2 to 3 months overall. This is highly dependent on how soon you fill out your application form, which can take about a few days, 5 working days to process. And then you'll be taken to the online assessment process, which then takes a few days also to process. And if you are successful, you'll be invited along to our digital assessment centre. It is also dependent on the volume of applications you receive, which typically can be quite high. So please do try and get in as early as you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk through each of those steps so you have a good understanding of what happens at all of those steps. So the application form, we expect the application form to take no longer than about 30 minutes to complete. I've done one. It doesn't take very long to do. In the application form, there'll be 2 stages. You'll be asked for some details, which will enable us to kind of check if you're eligible, as in what Rich went through earlier. And then it will ask you for information. So we'll ask for personal information, education history, employment history, tattoos, convictions, things like that. So it will go through quite a few bits and bobs in the application form. Then you'll complete the application form, which will ask you for details about some of your history, any reasonable adjustments that we might need to make during any part of the stages, and also about any piercings and tattoos, as I said earlier, and we'll also ask for a vetting and declaration in there. Following a successful screening review, you will be invited to complete an online assessment. So that's stage 2 on the slideshow. So what I'm going to do now is just tell you a little bit about a little glimpse about the online assessment. Some of you might be there already. So first, you'll take part in a week in the life, an immersive assessment where you'll experience several realistic scenarios you would encounter in the day-to-day life as a neighborhood police officer. We want people to kind of react and see how they react in different situations, understand and reflect on how they would deal with each of those situations, and how you can articulate yourself in a video format also. Then you'll be asked to complete a personality questionnaire. This is designed to gain an understanding of your behavioral preferences, how you approach tasks and interact with other people. So that's our online assessment section. I'm going to move on to our assessment center and how that works. So following being successful on the online assessment, you'll be invited to book on a date and time slot on our assessment. Each assessment will be held digitally. This stage is an opportunity for us to find out more about you and to find out about the program you've applied for. It's important that you know your motivations for applying for a place on our program, and remember to be yourself throughout the exercises. The digital assessment is a unique and, again, it's fully immersive experience of life as a police officer. The tasks and exercises vary depending on the program you've applied for, but the tasks will contain the same content such as a face-to-face interview. online, and you will be scored against the same College of Policing framework. So the competencies that you would have seen earlier, some of those, along with our Police Now competencies. So if you're going to an assessment center or doing an online assessment, again, I'll definitely encourage you to look at our competencies. So then throughout this whole process, you'll be offered preparation support ahead of the assessment center, which you will be sent details of when you're going through the process. So I'll definitely encourage you to try and book onto whatever you're invited to so you can get the best out of what we offer. So number 4, so this is onboarding, and I get to do a lot regarding onboarding, and once someone is successful in the assessment center, they get a call from me, and they're offered a conditional place on the program. And that can be from me or one of the other recruitment officers who will be your main point of contact through the whole pre-employment check process. We'll be there to address any concerns that you might have with your progress, support you through any of your pre-employment checks, and liaise between you and the force. You'll be given a login to your onboarding portal, which is a platform which is very exciting. So you can then access some useful information you might need before joining, as well as information to give you a chance about the program itself. So let's move on to the application process. So during the application process, I think what I've done is, we talked about this at an earlier stage. So one key thing is when I talked about what are the important parts of the application process, I think it's quite important for you to have a little look at this right now and see the different parts of the application process. So I said it's not very scary. It literally takes 30 minutes. And these are the 2 stages that are required in the application process. So these 2 stages are the registration form, which I said is just sort of asking information around your eligibility, criteria, and sort of next steps. And then, of course, like I said, the application form, which is the personal details, education, reasonable adjustments, those sorts of things, which I said before. So I'm just kind of going to go through this very quickly, but I have luckily just talked about all of these. So what I would just say is, again, have a look at our website with all of this, but the online assessment is an immersive assessment. And these are 2 elements. I think it's really important that you understand the 2 different parts of the online assessment, which is the immersive side, which will kind of see you do realistic scenarios, and then also the personality questionnaire, which I said earlier. And then the assessment center, which I've luckily just taken you through. And again, I think the key bits here is just looking at our competency framework before you go to the assessment center, and understanding your key motivations for why you want to be a police officer and why you want to be a neighborhood police officer, or in later on in the year, one of our other cohorts, the detective cohort. So I've gone through onboarding, but I will talk to you a little bit about what I do. So it's really interesting in that in the onboarding process, you get to work very closely with me or the other recruitment officers, and you get to basically go through some of the checks that you can see here. So what the checks that will be involved are, as you can see, a background and vetting check, medical and a fitness test, an SMT, so that's basically a substance misuse test, fingerprints and DNA, and we'll also do some other compliance checks, such as checking your degree certificate. So that's some of the things that will be required on the onboarding journey for you to actually start the program. Then, let me just, before I end, let me just say there will be other things that you will have to go through during that journey. But once you have finished that and you have got a full offer, you will then start the program. So I'm going to pass over to my colleague, Amy, who will be able to take you through the actual program.
Thanks, Chidi. Rich, is the video okay, or would you like me to glide over that for the time being? Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you through that 2-year program. So if we move 2 slides forward, please, Rich. Thank you. So I'm just going to talk you through what actually happens once you've gone through the recruitment process and you've now landed with us and the start of the 2-year program. So the first thing is pre-academy. So pre-academy starts during the pre-employment process, and this includes core learning. So this means that you're building on the foundation knowledge that you'll have that you need actually to start. So this includes sort of law, legislation, and role responsibilities. So this is just, like I said before, giving you that foundation knowledge to start the academy, because the academy that we give you in comparison to regular entry is quite a little bit shorter. So we need to know that you've got all that information to hand before you start. So you'll then have your academy, which is residential, and accommodation is provided to you. So our Police Now Academy is intensive, and it's between 7 to 8 weeks, and it's designed and delivered by outstanding, high-performing frontline police officers from the forces that you are hoping to join. And the majority of these have been neighbourhood PCs and sergeants themselves. So at the academy, it's basically a mix of classroom-based and also practical-based exercises. And again, these have all been aligned with sort of what the College of Policing expect from you, and also what you're going to be expected to do in the role when you then land in force. So following on from the academy, you then have an in-force training week. So you will go to your specific force to complete sort of force-specific training. So that normally includes PST and ELS, so emergency life support and personal safety training, and that will also include sort of local procedures, policies, and ITC system training as well. Once you've then completed your in-force training week, you will then begin your 8 to 12-week immersion period. So this basically means that you join the force. You will then be allocated a PC who will work with you as a mentor, who will provide you with support and guidance. They will tutor you on every shift that you are joining during that time. At the same time as well, though, you are given a performance development coach, and they will provide you, and that is provided by Police Now, and they will give you one-to-one guidance. So they'll be working with your line managers and your force to aid your professional and personal development throughout the whole 2-year programme. So what they do is they work with you to develop innovative plans and set ambitious goals for your neighbourhood, and make sure that you are hitting sort of your university targets as well. So what they will do is they will play to your strengths, and they will also address your weaknesses as well. So you can then confidently improve those and step up to deliver sort of those outcomes that are needed within the communities that you're serving. So your PDC is going to meet with you quite regularly in order to help you complete your personal development plan. And they will also support you at impact events and skill sessions that are run. So also during your time on the programme, we will make sure that you have 360 feedback. So this support will come from your line management and also your colleagues, and this supports your learning and also your development. So your professional development coach will also be part of this process as well. So they'll be helping you address those weaknesses that have kind of come through from that. Following on from that, in your second year, you will have the chance to do secondments and attachments. So this is where you get to spend up to 4 weeks, either in an external company. So it could be the National Crime Agency. We've had things like Greg's before and different things like that. And then there will also be the opportunity for you to do an internal secondment as well. And again, they're a great way for you to experience professional life sort of outside the police service, and with sort of companies that you'll be working alongside as well, sort of day to day. And then you will also have skill sessions. So you'll be involved in 5 innovative and dynamic skill sessions over the course of this 2-year programme. Again, they've been designed to develop your leadership and policing skills. So your line management will be encouraged to attend those to ensure that they can take advantage of that training. And then those who successfully complete the programme will then attend graduation, and that will be in the summer during their second year. So the ceremony is a celebratory event of you sort of doing that whole 2-year programme, and it'll be in front of your family members and friends, which is nice. Rich, next slide, please. So I just want to talk you through what kind of makes us different to applying directly to the force. So the first one is the academy. So if you were to join through regular entry, you would have to do 19 to 20 weeks training. With us, that's been condensed to 7 to 8 weeks. It is quite intensive, but again, it gives you the opportunity to sort of learn outside of the force and then grab all those opportunities and skills that you'll learn then and then implement them as soon as you join. There are learning and development opportunities across the whole 2 years throughout the programme. Again, as mentioned, those sorts of secondment and attachment opportunities. And this is something that Police Now provides specifically, and that's a performance development coach. So they will really be working with you throughout that whole 2-year programme. So you'll be introduced to them at the end of the academy, and they will hold, I believe, 6 meetings with you throughout sort of the 2 years, but they will also be on hand if you need anything outside of that. And we also have impact events, which is where you guys all come together to share your ideas about how you've made an impact in the communities that you're serving. And it's just a really nice event as well to catch up with each other, because this will be the first time that you've all come face to face since joining the academy together. So it will be nice for you to do sort of some networking, especially with those from other forces. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to talk to you sort of about life after the programme. So what happens is during the programme, you will also assign sort of university work, and you will also have a mentor through the university. So this means that you will get a graduate diploma in professional policing practice with Liverpool John Moores University. We also have Connection for Life here at Police Now, which means that you will become an alumni once you finish the programme, and you'll be an ambassador for the programme. So you can keep in contact with us, and we will sort of call on you as well with sort of if you've got any good news stories to share that around and try and I don't know, talk to you guys that are in a similar position that you are now to try and get you to join. And then you'll also develop leadership skills for life. So we have different things that are in place in order for you to develop those skills, and they will be transferable throughout your career in policing or even any other role that you'd like to take. And then lastly, we do also have our Frontline leadership programs. That's something that's fairly new to us here at Police Now, but it means that we focus on those who are underrepresented in policing, and we give you further help and training when you would like to go for sort of our sergeant or promotion board. And we hold specific kind of days in which you will come together with police officers from other forces in order to sort of brush up on your interview skills, learn what it's going to be like to go through that sergeant process, and just kind of make it slightly easier for yourselves. Now, I believe that is everything from me. So I'll pass back over to Rich, but if you do have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat.
Thanks, Chidi, and thank you, Amy. I hope that's given you all a pretty good insight into the Police Now program and our kind of process. We are actually now available to answer any questions that you have. So I believe you can still use the questions tab to get those questions in, and we will do our best to answer them.
I'm just going to butt in there. We've had one from Amelia, and it's in relation to the National Detective Programme. So that is still running. It doesn't run alongside the National Graduate Leadership Programme that launches separately. You can still become a detective after the National Graduate Leadership Programme, but you'll have to go through a 2-year probationary period first.
Thanks, Amy. Most of them covered off at the moment.
I think one thing I will mention is the slide that's up at the moment. These are the forces that we're currently recruiting for. So if you have a passion to work for any of these forces, please do get an application in as soon as possible, so you don't miss out the opportunity to work for some amazing forces that you see on the slide right now. Thank you.
So then a question come through about the next best steps applicants can take. So I think one would be to use that eligibility checker. So that was on the website, which is policenow.org.uk/eligibility. So that'll be your kind of best first approach, I think. And then as soon as you found out, it will basically kind of signpost you to start recruitment. So you can kind of start that application process and then pretty much go from there. So as you kind of talk through that application process, that's what we'll always go through. And then once you've kind of reached that stage, you'll basically be kind of given comms throughout that kind of period, and then through your onboarding as well. So yeah, I would say first approach is the eligibility checker, and then you'll be kind of signposted to start that application. And if it turns out that you haven't become, or you don't see that you are eligible, it will kind of signpost you to other things like different routes into policing, and things like that. Let's had a question come in from Melina. I think you didn't catch what I was talking about when we were talking about different routes into policing and how, I guess, Police Now is how it differs from that. So I can touch on that a little bit more. So we are an independent organisation. We are a separate entry route to direct entry, whereas you'd probably go to straight to the Met Police or Greater Manchester Police, for example. So we can't actually comment on many of the details that like around direct entry routes into policing. But as I mentioned before, it is a shorter than average training academy, led by those kind of experienced police officers. And you'll also get ongoing support through different things like having your performance and development coach. So that'll be kind of your kind of go-to one-to-one support that you get throughout the program. Other things, so you'll be kind of on completion. You would have basically worked to and studied for a graduate diploma. So that's called the Graduate Diploma in Professional Policing Practice. And that will be obtained from the university that you kind of study alongside. So that's a level 6 qualification, which is actually a degree level. So that's another thing you kind of get from us. And yeah, I think in terms of like percentages, I think I spoke about people coming from like different career backgrounds or may not considered policing before. That sits currently around the kind of 40% mark. And other things that you can actually do on the program as well is like impact events, where is kind of your chance to demonstrate all the positive impact that you've had in your role, in your force, in your kind of posting. So a great opportunity to get involved with various things. And you've also got those skill sessions that have been mentioned as well. Let's have a look if there are any more questions. think I've seen one from Joe, who asks, what are the requirements for mental health, such as if you're on medication, would you still be considered? Or is it a case-by-case thing, or are there broader specifications? I won't be able to comment on that myself, but it's definitely something that we can raise a bit further down the line and get questions kind of answered and sent out. But I guess it would probably depend massively on that particular force that you have interest in or have applied for, and they'll be able to kind of advise further on that. So keeping that kind of close relationship with your recruitment officers who do have that connection with forces, you should be able to find out pretty easily from there. So yeah, got a question from Amelia, who asks, if you're successful, when does the program start? So the academy will actually start in September. I think it's the 12th of September. So that's when you'll basically start your academy. You'll go through a 7-week kind of intensive kind of training academy. And you'll also, after that, basically be positioned and posted to your kind of force area. Hi, so it's Leanne. I think when is the National Detective Program for applications? Will you be doing another one of these webinars for it? One, I think we'll definitely be doing a similar webinar as we work with the kind of hosts for this program. Likewise, we'll do something similar for the National Detective Program when we are due to open. So at the moment, we aren't actually open, but I think it should be around autumn time. So the one thing you can do is register your interest using our website. So that's probably the best piece of advice, probably just to get your interest in using our website, and then you'll basically get communications from us, letting you know what the next steps are and when it's likely to open. So that's a bit of advice there. Thank you, Leanne. So a question from Lewis. I have an undergraduate degree that meets the grade required, as well as a master's degree. Am I still eligible? Yes, Lewis, you are eligible. Not to worry there.
I'm just going to take the question from Costel in relation to whether you need to have your certificate before you apply. So you don't, but you need to have obtained your degree by the start of academy, which will be the 12th of September. So you can apply now if you're in your 3rd year. if you know that you have achieved your degree by sort of September time. So I'm just going to take that question from yourself, Melina, just in regards to the fact that you're interested in the detective role. So if you're applying for the National Graduate Leadership Programme, you're going to be going out there and wanting to make an impact on communities. So you have to do 2 years in a neighbourhood police officer role first, before you can then start studying your National Investigators exam to then become a detective. You do want to just become a detective straight away, then you would need to look at our National Detective Programme. And as Rich mentioned, that isn't opened at the moment, but you can register your interest for that on our website.
Okay, everyone who's still in, thank you so much for putting in your questions. I think we'll just kind of we'll keep a track of everything that's come through, but it seems like everything has been answered. So thanks again for joining, and yeah, appreciate your time today, and yeah, have a good rest of the day. Thank you very much.